Shouldn't cry, but I love it. Stop why.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined. Got the chance to play with the Samsung S8. Is this thing still a Galaxy? I guess it is, right? The Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus. And I want to give you guys a quick impressions video. My God, what an impression. This is a beautiful piece of hardware. In fact, I would step out on a few limbs and say this is the best designed phone I have ever seen in my life. Damn near piece of technology. If I didn't think cameras are so damn sexy. But yes, wow, kudos to Samsung. I mean, definitely take my hat off to these people. And this is something that they've been pushing for a while, right? These bigger displays and a smaller footprint of a body or a mold. And wow, they really hit their stride. I mean, the 2-to-1 ratio looks a little weird at first, and then within a few seconds, it just goes away. It doesn't look that weird at all. And I'm sure when you purchase this thing, it'll be fine. And when I say 2-to-1 ratio, what you should know here is it is a little taller than most devices and a little narrower. Is that a word? A little more narrow than most devices as well. So that gives it pretty much a perfect 2-to-1 ratio. There's also no hardware buttons in the front. Samsung actually moved the fingerprint scanner to the back. And it's a weird place for it. It definitely does feel weird reaching for it, especially when the phone is this tall. But nonetheless, the buttons in the front, the home, the back, and the menu buttons are all software. So you can now change the order, because Samsung always liked to put the back and the menu buttons on the opposite side of other manufacturers. Drove me crazy for some time. I'm not going to go into the specs or the camera. The camera here is pretty cool, but you know, the conditions where I played with the phone were very well lit, so that's no real indicator. This is something you're gonna have to leave for the review itself, and a proper review at that. But yeah, I don't want to get into the specs. In fact, we got a video on the channel where we go into the specs and talk a whole lot about what was going on there. But first impressions, wow, they knocked it out of the ballpark. The display is beautiful. The colors on this display, the brightness, the saturation, the contrast. Oddly enough, I think this is one of the more muted phones Samsung has ever came out with. It's not as punchy as some of the other phones were out of the gate. I'm sure you can go into the settings and dial that up and give it more contrast and give it more saturations, but I do like the look of the display. That infinity display, what they're calling it, the curves, the edge to edge, my God, it works well. And what I will say, another hats off thing to Samsung is it is a lot easier to hold than it was something, say, my Galaxy S Edge Plus from yesteryear. I really didn't tap the screen on the side by mistake at all. So they definitely figured out the magic of having that curve edge to edge display and also not have it be just a pure annoyance. But yeah, I mean, there's still some things I want to warn people about when watching reviews. We know this thing is coming out shortly. There's three main things I want you to watch out for. One is those day one reviews, because we know that Samsung has a problem with their UI, and we know that the honeymoon phase or period with Samsung is very real. And that's when your phone is just a champion for a month or two, and then the UI just kicks in and it starts stuttering, it starts lagging, and no amount of updates ever fixes that. So really watch out for that, and try not to let the day one reviews fool you. Take your time, let some people get a hold of it, let some people test it for a month or two and see what they're saying about the longevity of the experience. Speaking of updates, that's the second one on my list you need to watch out for. Samsung has a long history of not delivering updates in a timely fashion, and it doesn't get any better when you throw into the equation the carriers. So that's something to watch out for. That was something that turned me off from Samsung personally. And of course, the third would be the battery life. Again, that was a big part of the honeymoon phase where you fell in love with the phone. It was beautiful, beautiful hardware, very nicely designed. And then the battery would only last you 3 hours. Like, that pissed me off. And that's something that we're going to want to wait again for a little while for people to really sort out and get to the bottom of. So if you're one of these people where you're waiting to see what the reviews are, these are my 3 things to watch out for. But I mean, if your mind's made up no matter what a beautiful phone. A real treat awaits you, and I really like this thing. And I'm holding firm to my to my morals here. I'm not getting it because Samsung hasn't shown me otherwise with those 3 points I mentioned. So I'm sort of waiting it out, but my God, it was an amazing device to play with for the time that I did. I'm definitely gonna get one in house to do the review, but so far so good. Perfection. Good job, Samsung. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace. If I had to describe Lifestyles Defined, I would say it is a dream come true to have a platform where we can talk about the things that we love and we can share with people who also love the things we love the way we love, and just have conversations that matter and go back and forth and grow as a community. It's been a pleasure. It's been a dream, and I just want to thank everyone that's involved for rocking out with us.